Beautiful. Thank you to everybody that is here joining us live. Again, these meetups are meant for the community. So what we do each and every month is we try to share a story, some perspective, a tool, anything that we can to help empower, embrace, and build small business, right? And we always have leaders that really are driving that through their contribution, through their story, through their creativity. And I'm very, very excited to have Linsey Shelton on today. She is the co-founder of WayMaker. She is a ball of fire, and her story is all about creating a mission that allows you to take your brand and go from making it matter to making it happen, which is, I'm really excited that that's our theme, because it's all about action. And we've had a lot of build up to this so far this year. So Linsey, thanks for being with us. And, you know, before we get started, Linsey, we always have everybody on the call introduce themselves. This is a community, so we're going to have a quick shout out to you from everybody on this community real quick. My name is Adam Griggs. I'm the moderator, and I have the fantastic privilege of not only being connected to you, but being part of your Action Planner Club. I absolutely love it. So shout out to that. And I will turn it over to Patty.
Well, I'm so excited to be here. So my name is Patty Farmer. For those that don't know me, I am in the marketing and media space. So I help people to master their marketing, leverage the media, and monetize their business, and do it in a way that makes their marketing profitable, not painful. So I love being here.
Love your voice, Patty. Thank you.
Thank you.
Amy.
Yes, so I work in the data space. I'm Amy Benzowitz with LB Digital, and I provide data to marketers for all kinds of use cases, from targeting to identity graphs.
Love it. Thank you for being here and sharing in this moment with us. Susan, you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, hello. I'm Susan Husa with Animate Life Coaching, and I love helping Christian leaders reach their fullest potential. So it's a pleasure to be here with all of you today.
Susan, thank you for everything you do in the community as well and being present. Mr. Jonathan.
Hello, my name is Jonathan Graziano. I am part of the GoDaddy marketing team, and I am, as always, so grateful to see all of your faces and to hear from Linsey. Thank you so much for being here today.
Yeah, thank you, Jonathan, for all you do. And then, of course, we have our beautiful friend Elena, who is here, cameras off. Elena, if you want to say a quick hi, we can do that, or we can continue on.
Yeah, hi. I'm still here. Hi, everyone. Formerly Team GoDaddy, now just a regular person / attendee who is happy to hear you guys talk.
Here, Elena, and obviously for the community members that are listening to this later, cameras on, cameras off, right? We are a lifestyle community. Things have to happen, business has to take place. So come as you are, continue to collaborate, chat, and then share. Linsey. All right, let's talk about action. We have spent the beginning of the year talking about discovering brand and really dialing in your story, which is something that you actually do very beautifully over at WayMaker, right? And then you do this particular part, which is bridging the gap into action and accountability through consistency. So share with us a little bit about what it is that you do and why you do it.
Yeah, so we help businesses to really attach themselves to the purpose of why they created it. And if we have a team, you know, sometimes we have entrepreneurs, sometimes we have a big team, and teams need to align around these big decisions, right? So a brand strategy is what we help them to create. And brands they're about purpose, they're about mission, they're about vision, they're about creating a company that feels like a person. So they have a personality, they have values, they have ways that they show up in the world, ways of speaking. They have a persona with the kinds of images that they post. You know, maybe they're super clean and crisp, they have bold colors, or maybe there's always like a graphics overlay or something, but it all contributes to this experience of what you want to create. And so really the work that we do is we create a container and we ask the right questions and we make it easy to make decisions about your business, because I'm a firm believer that having endless possibilities is really hard. It's really hard to act on. So we have to make decisions so that there are certain kinds of customers that are for us. that we know exactly where our place in our market is. You know, what is that very special thing that we do and only we do, and how do we deliver that to the world? And then we, so our clients for Brand Planner always create a brand strategy, and they create a change book. So they think about, they create this big vision of where they want to show up and how they want to show up. And then they come to Jesus about where they are and how they're showing up. And then we have them build a bridge between those two things. Like, what does this mean for, what changes do we need to make to our social media presence, to our, to the way we market in general, to our website, to our customer experience, to the way we handle our employees. We look at it in a 360 way, so that this vision can become really tangible and real, and we create actionable steps. So they also get this thing called a change book, and it details like 6 months of changes, right? We make them have like a reasonable time scale to accomplish things on, ask them, you know, is this something that's in my wheelhouse? Is this something I want to pay someone to do for me? So is it a done with me, done for me, DIY kind of situation? So we make really concrete decisions. And then you got to go do that. So, so last year we created ActionPlanner. And it is a very simple membership, simple but powerful. Every Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern, we meet as leaders, as entrepreneurs who need to get it together every single week. So we take a look at those visions that we set for ourselves, the goals that we set for the year, for the quarter, and we look ahead in our calendars. We reflect on how we did this week, number one, and then we look ahead in our calendars. We clear our inboxes so that we're like fully prepared for the next week. We know exactly what needs to be done, why it's important in our business, and we have the space to do it because we've created time blocks on our calendars. We've somehow gotten to inbox zero, which is amazing. I did that this week. I didn't even get to cheer it on with you guys, but I got there. And that's all we do. That's all we do now.
That's all we do. That's all we do.
That's all.
We just make things happen and help great businesses, you know, take it to the next level. Whatever. There's so much humility there. I'm not even going to dial in on that. First of all, I love that what you do is you take people from this big, hairy, audacious goal, right? We all have big, ridiculously lofty goals and these burning passion, these whys that really drive us to want to do more. And a lot of times at the beginning of the year, we overwhelm the hell out of ourselves, right? Mm-hmm. And we have no idea what that means to us. And what you do is this discovery process that lets us dial in not just the mission and the why, but you talked about experience. What is the business going to do? And how is it going to be an experience for those that you want it to be an experience for, right? And we named this meetup, Pick Names and Take Action, because sometimes you got to kick around the ideas and sometimes you got to kick them away because they're bad ideas, right? And understand that not everybody's your ideal client. But then what does that mean as far as taking action on that? So you've literally laid out this discovery, this roadmap, and then ActionPlanner is the gas that gets us where we're going, these small actionable steps. And I think there's a lot of power in that. And you're saying that with humility, saying that that's all you do. But really, at the end of the day, some of the highest thinking individuals, these leaders of these companies that are next in line to be the big names, the big brands, they're wearing all the hats. And when you're wearing all the hats, you can't be present. And when you're not present, the experience goes down. And if you're not protecting that time, you're not taking that intentional action, which is what you help people do, is create intention in their action, they'll never get to that next level. So I really appreciate that that's what you do, Linsey.
Yeah, thank you. I think I say it with humility because it's not humility, it's actually a win. I think there's been many years, and I think everyone else is like this too. When you start your entrepreneurial journey, you kind of just go everywhere and do everything. You kind of follow money, you follow the whims of other people. And when we created WayMaker, it was an evolution of being in business, doing other things for a long time, and deciding like this was the stuff we really wanted to do. And we're not going to do anything else other than these two things. We might do things that are related. Maybe I'll do some workshops or something around it. I might expand it in a certain way, but it just being that simple for me it feels like a win.
No, I love that. I think what you're doing is managing moments that matter, and that's really an inviting process. And I love that you break it down from this big goal to these moments that actually are going to matter in business, and really protecting that and checking in week after week, because we know that as entrepreneurs, like you said, we chase the money, we chase the opportunity. Sometimes we're squirrels and we get lost, and we have to have that consistency and check-in. And I don't know about you, but historically, the calendar has been the devil's advocate, right? Oh, I'll get to that by the end of the year. And then the end of the year comes, you recap, you reset, and then a whole nother year goes by. And I love you've got this 52-week process of check-ins and managing your time and prioritizing the experience and the reason you're doing these things. I can't appreciate you enough for that, because what you're doing is you're matching confidence with consistency, right? So talk to us a little bit about how that works. I mean, do you just like come in and you're like, all right, we're just, this is the 7 days. Are you looking just at the 7 days, or is there a bigger process, something that leads up step by step to that big, hairy, audacious goal, or whatever is on the horizon for us?
Yeah. So the furthest that I've gotten in dealing with time spans, I mean, we'll set brand goals with brand strategy, but when somebody comes and they're just in ActionPlanner, we work in quarters. So we'll do a quarterly workshop where we basically do like a come to Jesus on the business. I have a couple of exercises that help you figure out the problems that are really most in your way right now. And we think about our business, and I think it's 3 different exercises. And then at the end, you select what your quarterly goal is. And of course, you can select up to however many, but we recommend 1 to 3. And then we go through a process of actually detailing what a quarterly goal should be. Like, we go through the SMART goal process. What's the best case scenario? What's the worst case scenario? We walk it back from that end goal until like a month before, and then a month before. So we have those 3 milestones. And then by just taking like that idea of like, you have your rocks, and then you have your pebbles, and you have your sand, right? So we start with rocks, like the end goal is the rock, and then maybe the pebbles are the months, and then the sand fills in between. So each week you're going to have goals that lead you up to that ultimate goal. So that's what the workshop does. And then ActionPlanner, the membership itself, it's weekly accountability, but the last week of the month, we always do the same process, but we look further. We look through the whole month, and we ask ourselves, what are my 3 goals for the whole month? Taking into account my quarterly goals, all the things I have planned, product launches, speaking engagements, big meetings, whatever. And then we have those 3 goals, which we track in ActionPlanner. Everybody has what we call the quarter card, and they have their goals at the top. And then each week we beat the drum. So we're thinking about that monthly goal. We're thinking about that quarterly goal. And then what's powerful this week for me, given the things I have to do in the next 2 weeks? What can I do now to show up powerfully for the next 2 weeks? And over time, it creates like this spaciousness. You know, at first people join and they're like, they have their to-do list is super long. They have back-to-back meetings that don't have buffer time. They have thousands and thousands and thousands of email. And in that email, there are opportunities that are buried. There are relationships that are being lost because we're so overwhelmed. But over time, what happens is we take that time to triage our email. We take time to protect our calendar. So if you have a doctor's appointment, you are putting drive time on your calendar. What? That way your stuff's not getting, like, you're not overbooking yourself, and you're planning in with time blocks. I say I have these big 3 things. When am I going to do those things? So that month 2, you're feeling like you can accomplish what you're setting out to do every week. It also teaches people to be realistic. That's the feedback that I've gotten recently is that they weren't very good at projecting what was possible in a week, but by having the failures and seeing yourself go red or go yellow, we do a color coding system. Then we ask ourselves, why? Why, like, what was the deal? What was the obstacle? What's the behavior? What's the pattern? So that ultimately you can do a better job at saying what's possible, and being realistic, because it sucks to say you're going to do something and not do it. You feel like a failure, even though you know that was probably a measurement issue. It's probably an expectation issue. You still red. And we want to feel good every week. So people get better at those goals. So that's our process in a nutshell. I'm sorry, Patty, you had a question.
Oh,
Do you remember
hey,
anything?
I'm enjoying what I'm hearing, but I just want, there's some things there that I want to touch on, like one, like the inbox thing. So like I have to tell you, I'll admit there was a time I used to have like 8,500 emails in my inbox at one time. But one of the things that I learned actually from Brendan Burchard actually was that your inbox is everybody else's agenda for your day.
Mhm.
That one thing was so powerful for me to learn to, when I wake up and I'm having coffee, for me to decide. I work for my
Mhm.
number one client, right, which is me. And then I have times that I look at my email. Otherwise, man, once you go in there, you're now a firefighter, right? Like now you're not a CEO, you're a firefighter. So I love your system for that. I think that is really good. I just want to say, I think that back in the day, remember when we were filling out our resumes, and if you said that you could multitask, that was like really the thing they wanted to hear. Now nobody wants you to be able to multitask. Now we want you to focus, right? You know, and so this really, I think, really helps you to be able to do that. So I love this. I want to interview you on my podcast because my people need to really hear that. But then the last thing I want to say is what you were saying about prep time, like, because I think that is so important. Like I know that as a speaker or whatever, a lot of times, you know, we get all these opportunities because that we're entrepreneurs. We're always looking for opportunities. And when they say, "Oh, could you come and do this," and we take out our phone and we look at our calendar, like, "Oh yeah, I'm available then." But we never realize that for that speech or whatever it is you're going to do, you actually needed to have prep time for it,
Right.
you know, and you need to make sure that you put in the prep time. And literally that just was a game changer for me once I actually realized that when I'm
Yeah.
looking for the bandwidth or the capacity I have, prep time usually probably takes more time than the thing you're actually doing, right?
Yeah.
You know, it is like it takes to get the presentation together and all that. So I have to tell you, I feel like what you're saying and having a system for that, oh my gosh, that is like phenomenal. I don't know how I didn't know about you before.
Thank you. Thanks for the kind words.
Yeah, I align with you on all those comments, Patty, and you do need to put her on your podcast. Linsey's voice is something that needs to be shared because of the passion that she brings specifically to taking action around things that we really do love and want to bring to the world. You know, one of the things you said, Linsey, was the calendar can be overwhelming, but it can also be underappreciated. One of the ways that you brought Action Planner to the forefront is that you've allowed people to stop the overwhelm, dial in moments that matter. And then at the end of the week, when you check in, appreciate what you've done, right? These check-ins are group and they're collaborative, which is beautiful because it's camaraderie and accountability. It's everything together. You know, I showed up last week feeling like, oh man, I didn't do much this week. I'm probably going to be red. And then I checked back on everything that we had talked about and I was actually on the green, which is crazy because as entrepreneurs, we beat ourselves up, like really, because sometimes we're so in that tunnel mindset. We're down there building business that we forget that we've made some great strides throughout the week. And it's amazing how fast a 7-day period can just blur and you're on to the next thing, on to the next thing, on to the next thing. So thank you for that. And obviously you see it in the comments, everybody's lighting up here saying that what you're doing is powerful. You're bringing focus. Alina, thank you for being with us today. I know you got to jump, but there's so many kudos happening here with what you're doing, bridging these moments, these powerful brand planning sessions into action that's tangible insights, accountability, and camaraderie. So kudos to you for doing that. And thank you for, you know, running down exactly how and what you do because it matters. So thank you, Linsey.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think there's so much power in creating space for the right headspace and being really intentional about what we're doing, because we are wearing many, many hats and we don't have time to do things that don't matter.
I think that giving us a plan to do it, because ultimately I say this to my clients all the time when they say, oh, like I can't do it because this happened or that happened. I always just want to say, I say it to them all the time. It's like, if you're the CEO, you own your calendar. You are the CEO, right? So you own your calendar. So, you know, sometimes we have to remember that and step into that and whatever that looks like and stuff.
Yeah.
But ultimately we have to own it because we own our calendar. So when people say, oh, I couldn't do it because somebody came into the office, like I got to tell you, for me, if somebody cancels a call with me and that's the reason, they say they are not getting back on my calendar again. Because if you didn't see the value that somebody walked into your office, they obviously wanted to talk to you. You could have said, I can't speak to you right now, and booked a call with them, right? You know, so obviously you didn't see the value. So as the CEO, we own that. And I love that you actually give us a system around it, because a lot of times people will be like, yes, but I don't know what the system is. So that is just powerful. And I'm so glad I learned about you today.
I know, and I just want to jump in. I know we're at time, but Linsey, wow, that was awesome. And I just want to encourage you to stay the course. You are the waymaker for people. I mean, I'm just getting to know you today. And if you take people through that system, there's so many small business owners out there today, and people that need your services. So, you're, sharing your information with us today. You totally stand with all you need to take people through.
Yeah.
So
that was good, Susan.
Anyway, I have a lot of confidence in you.
We lost her. I have to appreciate her for those comments, because you mentioned mindset matters. Owning your calendar, Patty, you're right, that matters. And really at the end of the day, it's consistency in our own confidence. And most entrepreneurs quit because they didn't know how close they were to succeeding. And
that's a good one.
What you've done is given me, specifically me, a very tangible roadmap that I'm seeing is working. So I'm a living example. I think the people inside of your sessions are living examples, and the community is going to continue to see it. And I would love to continue sharing what you do as we move forward.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. I appreciate your time today.
Adam, I have to ask you, did you consistency in your own competency? Did you say that?
Yeah. That's something that I took down as a note going through Linsey's action planner.
Like, that's going to be my quote of the day tomorrow, buddy.
You can contribute that specifically to Linsey, because I would not have had that awareness had I not been part of this weekly check-in session, this weekly accountability that I have to respect because it's my choice. And I love it.
Yeah, because we are powerful and we are leaders, even if we are just a leader of one. And that weekly reminder to step into this magical thing that we're creating, it requires an elevated level of ourselves. And so we have to keep holding that vision and stepping into it every single week. Don't get swept away by all the shenanigans, because we're not victims. We are leaders.
No, that's so powerful to understand that. And the world's going to continue to change, right? We all know that we're going to get surprised. There's going to be hiccups. There's going to be roadblocks. There's going to be things that are going to shift our perspective, our growth, our mindset, our brand. But having these action plans around that and really taking inventory of where you're at allows you to dial in where you want to be. And that matters. All of that along the way matters. So Linsey, thank you for sharing with us. You really are giving us the gas that gets the vehicle to where we want to go. So again, thank you. And thank you to the community members that were on today. Your voices are so appreciative. The context that we have these conversations, they matter. This is part of the community, and this is going to continue to drive and grow this small business.